Hey tankers, and welcome to World of Tanks with PR154, where we are following my fellow clanmate from the VIII clan, Bosnitch, in the Tier 8 Premium Soviet Heavy Tank, the IS-3A. Having a quick look at the loadout now that we can do that. We've got the vertical stabilisers, we've got improved aiming and improved rotation mechanism loaded, small repair kit, small first aid kit and automatic fire extinguishers. We also have 16 of the standard APCR rounds loaded, 10 of the heat rounds loaded and 2 of the high explosive rounds loaded. Probably one of the really good reasons for trying to improve the gun handling with the vertical stabilizers and the aiming is that this is probably the only weakness that the IS-3A has against the tech tree IS-3 is the fact that its gun bloom and dispersion on the move is a lot higher. Otherwise, I would go so far as to suggest that this is a superior vehicle in just about every respect. Granted, the turret is pretty well identical. It still has that. It looks different. It has a very much more rounded construction, but it also has this rather annoying plate just above the gun here that's only 20 millimeters thick. So if you have a gun of caliber 75 millimeters or more, you can actually overmatch that plate just by having a little bit of elevation advantage over the IS-3 or IS-3A. So hot tip whenever you are facing one of those vehicles. But the standout difference is the 3-shot auto reloader, and that's what gives it a key advantage over the tech tree vehicle. You're basically sending a 122 millimeter shell into the enemy every 3 seconds. So in 6 seconds, you can be doing about 1,200 hit points worth of damage to enemy vehicles. And that's going to be very useful in situations like this, where we're starting to crowd up below the Zeppelin. We're seeing some of these high tier vehicles are starting to creep in. We've got the Super Conqueror, a Stridsvagn K, we've got an M103 in the mix as well. At this point in time, Bosnitch is the most further forward. The rest of his teammates sort of playing off the hull down, as we can see that behind him. So we're waiting for the Super Conqueror to shoot, trying to pummel it while it's on the reload. Unfortunately, the first shot has gone into the upper frontal plate of the Super Conqueror, which is, with heat rounds, is not going to be terribly helpful because it just with the slabs of spaced armor that protect the Super Conqueror. He has tried to go for the turret ring at the with the second shot, but unfortunately the Super Conqueror was loaded for business and was able to get a shot into Bosnitch before he could get to that third round. So ducking back into cover was fairly sensible. At this point in time, we're probably better off just waiting for that Super Conqueror to fire and then just having a one-for-one trade if at all possible. Now the Super Conqueror driver here is not an idiot and has a considerable advantage over Bosnitch's teammates. Like, trying to play hull down against a Super Conqueror is generally not a great way to spend your time. And the Super Conqueror also side scrapes surprisingly well, also. So it's very much in an advantageous position. If it's not taking the shots, then Bosnitch doesn't really have opportunities to get his gun into the game and cause damage to the enemy, at least not without eating a 120 millimeter shell from the Super Conqueror. So we round on the VK7501K. That's a Tier 8 Premium German heavy tank. And we're able to see what this auto-reloading 120mm main gun can do. And with 3 shots, he has left the VK7501K on a one-shottable position. Now, the VK7501K has quite a long reload. I think its base reload is about 15 seconds. So it was very helpful to use that opportunity to take that killing shot on the VK7501K. She had plenty of time to do it. So very successful shot baiting there. Trying to do the same on the M103. Unfortunately, having knocked out the track for Bosnitch. Repairs up fairly quick, and just as well because there's some incoming fire from the Stridsvagn K as well. A couple of Bosnitch's teammates have sort of pushed in. I guess they were not in a great position on this ridgeline at the back, but Bosnitch has been able to catch a distracted Super Conqueror and start to dump shells into it. Is able to knock it out for his second kill of the game. We notice Bosnitch is actually making a bit of mission progression here, and the one he's on at the moment is Union 9 open season for the Object 279E. I'm not sure whether this is first or second attempt, but in any case, we've got some tangible progress here on this mission. This is a really annoying corner to play on a vehicle like IS-3A that has very limited gun depression, because it's just, you can just see the slight rise in the terrain just around the corner, and so many times I've been in that situation as well, where you've tried to poke the corner and your gun goes up in the air. But that's not affecting Bosnitch here today. He's now taken his third kill of the game, managing to satisfy the primary condition for this personal campaign mission for the Object 279E. His teammate in the Tiger 2 has been taken out. We're trying to pop around and try to catch any enemy vehicles on the reload. Oh, look at this. There's a cupola sticking up on the M103, so we'll try and punish that a couple of times. The M103 is now in a very one-shottable position, so we're just waiting for another shell to load up. The rather good turret of the IS-3A is serving Bosnitch well. So decisions. Do we go for the killing shot of the M103, or do we just thread the eye of the needle here and try and get some damage on the Stridsvagn K? And the Stridsvagn K is the one that cops it. So it's pulled back. Bosnich's teammate in the Centurion 5-1 pushes ahead. It's got the attention of the Stridsvagn K. But the Centurion 5-1 gets the killing shot into the M103. That just leaves the Stridsvagn K in this particular sector. One more shot and that will be sent back to the garage. Unfortunately, Bosnitch has done the deep dive into his magazine here, so the shots aren't coming out quite as quickly as we might like. But Centurion 5-1 takes full advantage. Bit of a swing and a miss there against the Stridsvagn K, so this might be an opportunity for Bosnitch to get his fourth kill of the game, and there we have it. We've satisfied both the primary and secondary conditions for Union 9 open season, this personal campaign mission for the Object 279E. But there's still 8 enemy vehicles left in the field, and Bosnitch only has 9 on his team as well. They're roughly even on hit points, so this could still be anyone's game. Noting the enemy have 3 tank destroyers, so when your team's backs are against the wall and you have a disproportionately high number of tank destroyers, you still have every chance of taking the game away, just by benefiting from playing defensively with a tank that excels at playing defensively. So we've got the T-44-100 is working this ridge, which will enable the enemy team to get vision through this area fairly consistently. We still have at least 2 tank destroyers that we suspect are working this ridge as well. So even though the advantage is slight, the danger has by no means passed for Bosnich's team. They are currently reorganising, trying to move around using the cover of this ridgeline. Appear to be organising into some of the soft cover that exists at this ridgeline. This is going to benefit the IS-3 in particular, as well as the Centurion 5-1 with its just amazing hull down ability. It's one of the things that makes the Centurion 5-1 probably the best of the Centurion series of vehicles, because it still has the classic Centurion turret, but it also they've also beefed up the upper frontal plate as well, so it just makes that ridge riding process extremely forgiving. It's certainly more so than the other Tier 8 Centurions. So Bosnitch has played his corner patiently and has managed to leave the T-44-100 in a one-shottable position. And they have slinked back into this position at A8. Now, pushing that position can be a bit of a dangerous prospect, particularly if not all of the tank destroyers of the enemy team are accounted for. If you push that position, there's a good chance that you can be shot from up here, and we can see that Bosnitch is looking that quarter closely. And with the SE-130 PM and the Scorpion G looking in the different direction, he's decided it's safe enough to press on that T-44-100 and send it back to the garage. This still leaves 3 tank destroyers in the field. So again, this could be anyone's game. We've got the FV-4005, which is enough to render pretty well any tank in the game one-shottable. Even after the rework of its shells, so Bosnitch will have to be super careful about that. The team have been pinging A1 just to indicate that they think that's where the FV-4005 stage 2 is. So if Bosnitch has been paying some attention to the chat, he'll be able to press this A line with a little bit of confidence that he doesn't have a shit barn lurking here in A3-4 that's just going to send him back to the garage in short order. So we're trying to hunt down Scorpion G and the SU-130 PM. We're able to find the SU-130 PM. One shot. And unfortunately, taking some damage to the turret from the SU-130 PM in that engagement, so he hasn't been able to get that follow-up shot in. But that's all right. The CS-52 lease has taken care of business. So we can see how UDES-3 and Foch B have decided to go for the cap, and that's not a silly decision under the circumstances. Again, tank destroyers on the defensive with their backs to the wall, they do that's the sort of situation they excel at, turning games around, and certainly defeat has been snatched from the jaws of victory many times with some ill-considered pushes against tank destroyers. So there we go, there's the win. Let's take a look at the results. So a well-deserved Ace Mastery badge there for Bosnitch of the VIII clan in the Tier 8 Premium Soviet Heavy Tank, the IS-3A. We've also picked up a couple of these Epic and Battle Heroes medals. We've got Steel Wall for receiving the most hits out of any vehicle on the team. And of course the High Calibre medal for accounting for at least 20% of the total hit point pool of enemy vehicles. That's a pretty epic selection of medals to be picking up from bottom tiered in +2 matchmaking. We've also picked up a couple of these badges of merit. We've got the Bruiser for causing damage to enemy crew members and modules at least 5 times in the course of the battle. We've got the Duelist medal for destroying at least 2 enemy vehicles that have caused damage to Bosnich's tank. We've got the Fighter medal, which is you get that for destroying 4 to 5 enemy vehicles. If you manage to pick up a 6, that's a Top Gun. So narrowly missed out on that with the SE-130 PM knocking out Bosnich's turret earlier in the game. We've also picked up the Shellproof medal, where total damage blocked has exceeded hit points of the vehicle. So over 1,800 hit points blocked there. And of course the Fire for Effect medal for at least doing the hit points of the vehicle and in damage to the enemy team, and nearly 5,600 hit points of damage inflicted on the enemy team. So again, this having collected that much of damage to the point that he's getting a High Calibre medal is just some fantastic gameplay from bottom tiered. And having a look at the ranking by experience points, very well deserved top placement there. Interestingly, the top 3 on, in fact, both teams, the top 3 vehicles by experience points were all Tier 8 vehicles. So while it can be a bit of a drag to be bottom tiered in +2 matchmaking, that is where, if you play to the role of the vehicle and you happen to have a good game, your ability to just rake in experience points for your efforts are quickly realised and well rewarded. Having a look at the detailed report, this has been quite a profitable game for Bosnitch. We've netted 140,000 credits thereabouts. Granted, 65,000 credits have been from an action or personal missions payout. Quite possibly that Union 9 personal campaign mission that we mentioned earlier. Now we're not quite sure if that was the final completion or just progress, but either way, it's if that was his first go at getting that progress, well, that's where that payout would arise. So let's take that out of the equation. That's still sort of a 75,000 credit game in the Tier 8 Premium Soviet heavy tank IS-3A. And if you've got a game that you'd like to share with the community, please reach out over Discord or any of the links below, and we'll do our best to sort you out. In the meantime, take care out there.